I made this cute card using my Cricut and a cut file from Creative Fabrica, and I'm going to give you the link to this cute gingerbread card in the description below, so be sure and check it out. Here's how I went through making this card. So there were several cuts that had to be made for the gingerbread, including the main structure and then the white icing. And so here's one of the little hints that I've learned over the years. I have this light grip mat that I'm using with this white cardstock, and then I just kind of roll the mat. Helps get some of these really intricately cut pieces and the bigger pieces off of the mat without much pulling or tearing of the cuts, because as you can see from below, with especially with these little icing cuts, there's some very small cuts here. I'm using this little spatula to loosen some of these up so that then I can just pull them up, because they are a little tricky to pull up. But I was able to get everything off very nice. I was so impressed with the level of these cuts, and just look at the little icing, the heart, the door frame, even the little doorknob on there, and they're just so cute. So had to make, I think it was 2 sheets of white and 2 of the brown maybe, and did that using this Cricut and my designer Cricut design space. So I got all the cuts laid out and ready. There were a set of instructions that I could look at. The one thing, I did not do any creasing or any scoring on my Cricut. I just decided to do my own scoring with the scoreboard. So some of these were pretty self-explanatory where the line would be. Some I kind of questioned, but I did end up getting everything in the right spot and everything lined up and fit perfectly. After I do some folding and really burnish those folds, it was really pretty straightforward how to align everything. But the instruction sheet helped, because one part there in the middle of the front and the back, we're going to actually invert the fold, and that's going to help when we put it in the card and keep everything flat there. So I like to use this Tombow clear glue when I was putting the white icing cutouts on to the craft paper, and I just applied that on as many of the sides as I could, getting those in. And then I want you to see, look how these just line up perfectly in place. I was just really so impressed. I love Creative Fabrica. I do have the subscription-based service, and it is wonderful for crafters. I love the fact that there are cut files in there. There are printables. I highly suggest you check it out. And again, I've got the link below. I do get a small percent if you purchase something, but the real thing is I just want to share this great service to fellow crafters, because I do get a lot of items from there. So I'm going to continue to put the little white cutouts on all 4 sides of the house, and then we'll also put some on the roof. And everything just lines up perfectly. I was just so impressed with it, like I said. So gluing that on, and we've got the fold lines that we're working on now with the other side of the house. This one was a little bit trickier, just kind of trying to get through in between those 2 windows, but it worked out fine. And then, like I said, the instruction sheet helped, because right here on this roof line, there was a double score that we're going to end up gluing down, and that just helps give the structure of the roof there as we're going to line it up with the eave of the house there. And this bottom fold, that's what we're going to be using to attach to the card itself. So here's where we've got the score line for the middle of the roof, and it was kind of hard to tell where it should go, and I just folded it and got the half cut. You can see the little chimney cut out there right here on top. We're going to use that in just a few moments, but get that cut down, and then we're going to apply the white icing structure on this side of the house where we've already got the fold lines down and ready. And this project didn't really take too long. Once everything was cut out, it was just a process of gluing everything down. Some of the items I like to wait until they're glued down before I move to the next step. This being one. This is where we glued down that structure on the roof, and I did use my little weight there to hold everything in place, just to make sure it was ready and dry. So it's really fun putting all these little icing pieces. See how they even have it cut off there, or cut out for the chimney to come through on the roof. And we get that down. And I think I left a little time for it to dry, but we can just go right into the next phase. We're going to line this up just like a box, really. It's got the little tabs on the side, and the instructions, if I'd have just followed those, clearly it would have worked. It just said lay the one side down on top of the other. I was trying to do one side and then the other, and you'll see here, because I'm going to lay the weight on top, but when I need to get to this tab and lay it down, when I do, it's not quite dry, so it slides a little bit. So it's just putting the glue down and laying it down. So I've got the one weight I'll put down, and I ended up putting another weight and letting it dry. Now I wanted to really follow the instructions, and it had these two pieces of white paper cut out and had you to tape down the middle. And the whole time as I was doing it, I was thinking, why do I just not take some cardstock, score it in half in these dimensions, and use that, fold that. And I think I could have, but I was just making sure that there wasn't something I was missing with it calling for taping down. So I just went ahead and used this method. We end up covering it up with the different cardstock on the front side, and then for the most part it's covered up by the house on the inside when it opens up. So we have this front piece of the card that was cut out, and just glue that on, and it fits exactly the same size on the white. There's no overlap or anything. And there's a coordinating piece for the back, but we're just giving it a double structure that's going to be helpful for the little house. So now to line the chimney up, we fold the edges down there on that one thing, and it goes through the top of the roof, and then we can let the edges come back out and put a little snow on the tip of the chimney. Now it's going to be time to put the little house in the card. And so we have the two flaps on the bottom. We're just going to apply glue to those and then see how they fit right in the middle of the card. Fold that down really good, and then we'll give it some time to dry, but then it will just open right up. And the only thing that attaches on the card are those two flaps. They even include an envelope here in our cut file, and so it cuts out this envelope here. I did not do any of the scoring for this with my scoreboard. I just kind of eyeballed it and did it by hand. Now this shows us how we can have a little insert into our envelope, and it gives it helps with that cut apart there to have the little craft paper to show through. I applied that with glue and was careful not to have glue come through on my designs. So glue that down, give it some time to dry, and then we can continue to assemble the envelope there. Folding up the edges and applying some glue, and then we want to fold down the top portion as well. So here is the final card with its coordinating envelope. It's a thicker card, and when you open it up, there we have the pop-up gingerbread house. And this is just the cutest thing. It's one of these cards that can be left out for display. You could add some more designs of things that you wanted to, more decorations. It's a cute little card, and it was pretty straightforward to put together. I hope you'll check it out.